Hey guys, so this is the end of February update for the tier list, so the February tier list. Basically, I'm recording all of the top Champions Arena rosters and updating them. So this is fully updated. I'm being pretty aggressive about pruning inactive accounts and old roster accounts. And you know, I do think that this game does not reward PvE enough. And then also all of the mechanics are just squad versus squad. So even though PvE like campaign stuff does scale higher, making certain heroes like Marduk weaker, Lucifer weaker, Lilith weaker. Overall, I think just going through it, if you just invest in the best heroes in the game for medals, then you're just gonna be just fine. So basically, I'm saying you can just disregard campaign completely. I would say you'll eventually get there. Uh, every top player I know, like they get to a certain stage in PvE, and then they just stop for weeks or months because the game gets really frustrating when you get far into PvE. You just can't you just can't push in there. Um, so so this is all sorted basically, and it's by overall usage. So I have 11 5-man rosters and 10 4-man rosters, and I want to quickly walk through the big spikes and changes. So the one of the big metagame shifts here is this Amaterasu lineup with Morgan, and you'll see Tangan, YSS, and Western Queen quite a bit, but there's some variants of it, but the core is basically Amaterasu and Morgan. Amaterasu is like super busted OP right now. She's just like, in the replays I watched, she's just like 3 to 4 shotting even tank units. And then Morgan keeps her alive. And so this Morgan spike here, very strong. Leonidas kind of in response to this lineup, but also because Leo has a very good niche of tanking frontal damage, has moved up 12% here. Sorry, 25%. Oda's continuing to build more. He's the newest UR, so people were kind of slower to build him just as a resource matter. And then I would even say Poseidon and Titania are kind of, trying to respond to the metagame as well. Um, and then Artemis 10%. Just putting out more burst damage. She's actually being included in more of like the Archie lineups as well, to do more burst damage. I think if you sort it down like this though, you're basically getting like most of the strong heroes in the game. And I have gotten some feedback where I am considering adding in the URs into the tier list visually. So let's just quickly go down this list here. So Tangan is going to be brought up to an S. He was already close to an S before. These are all fine here. Susanoo is the same usage as before. The reason Susa's not an S is because even though he's really good, even in PvE and against bosses, I mean, honestly, he should probably be an S tier here. But if you look at the original tier list, it's set up so that, these first 4, you're supposed to invest in no matter what, like whatever stage of the account you're on. And then I had a problem putting Susanoo. By the way, this is my updated version. But I had a problem putting Susanoo at S because you already have 2 Luminarch S's. I think technically he would qualify as an S tier because he's also really good for bosses and for PvE as well. So we'll do that. Let's actually go ahead and do that. But I'm gonna put him at the end because I think he should be invested in after Western Queen. Susanoo is also he's one of those characters that gets way better as your account progresses, like a lot. So the standard breakpoint is like level 180, but even past that, he gets better too because as your account grows, like when you first start the game, it's very simple. You just want like a super power carry, someone like Apollo or Oda or Archie, and you just want to build them up and face roll the stages. And Susa's not very good at that stage because he's single target damage. But as your account kind of grows and you start unlocking these really tough maps that have like 3 times your power, you need characters like Susanoo and Faust and Cassandra and Medusa to kind of get you through them. So we're going to bring him up here. It looks like I actually kind of went through this list already. These characters, Marduk, Lucifer, Lilith, were S tier PvP in my previous, but they're kind of losing influence here. I think Amaterasu and Tangen have moved up past them. Morgan, I think Morgan is theoretically pretty strong for PvE as well, but I haven't been looking at a lot of campaign clears from people. So I do sometimes use her in PvE, so she could also move up to S tier here. If I Another way I might consider structuring this list in the future is to have the original OG S tier 4 and then add in another S tier of colors as well. I don't want to break up the 3 per color here too much, but yeah, I could definitely see bringing Morgan to S tier at some point. We'll leave her at A for now. It's set. I dropped from S to A. Amaterasu, maybe the best unit in the game right now. And then just moving down the list, I think Cassandra is interesting. I think in a vacuum, with how good she's showing in PvP, she's one of the best heroes in PvE because PvE starts getting obnoxiously hard, and then your backline will often just get smoked within like 3 seconds. So Cassandra provides some of the best value overall. But originally I didn't put her in S tier because I was very hesitant to say you should force build a healer right after Archie, especially because you have to invest in like YSS and Amaterasu. The way the game works is like when you build a bunch of resources, you actually end up overflowing into green a lot because the green heroes aren't as good. And so the heroes like Idun and Naga are both healers. So then you always end up building one of them, which makes Cassandra less useful, less good. So I'll keep her at A for now. I think Cassandra and YSS have some arguments for S tier. Archimedes is starting to show some weakness in PvP, but I still think he's a pretty good filler squad for PvP. And then he's really good in PvE, and then he's also really good against bosses. And the way blue works is if you're not building a UR, I mean, there's just not that many spots to put in blue resources. So I still think he's kind of the best carry for like a non-UR carry in the game still. It would be him or Apollo, and so I'm still comfortable having him here. Mirasaki, the hero evolution event is over, and she's not as strong in PvE or PvP as I had been expecting, so bring her down to B, bring Leo up to an A here. Not that many changes in this list going down. This Oda S tier is kind of a fake score because I love him. He would be more of an A, but let's give him the fake S. And then just moving down, even Poseidon I could see being an A tier, so we're gonna swap Poseidon and Oberon. So Poseidon and Leo are very consistent, like logically I would say, because they both have a niche of tanking a lot of damage, which is pretty useful for PvE as well. And that's pretty much going to wrap up the changes to the tier list from this round. I want to say again that I think this game is very well designed compared to other games like this, where every hero basically is viable. So just because a hero is even a C, I think is useful. Titania might be a B actually, but even like a C tier hero is still decent and can find their niche. And then B tier heroes can also be very good. So just because a hero is like a B or a C doesn't mean that they're bad. Aphrodite I'm going to put in C for now. We'll see how she pans out. My hopes aren't that high. And then finally, I will just add the URs kind of to the list. So right now they're sorted like this. I don't like doing this because I think they're very, like players have told me they can't really read the icons and it's kind of difficult for them. But we'll just go ahead and do that. I wish I could just draw like a line right here. But I think Amaterasu and Tangen are the best heroes. Set is first alphabetically, but I think she's also near closer to S tier than the others. Same with Oda. Oda has the defense steal and the AoE damage in PvE, so he's always like worked really well for me. And then I think Nua and Typhon are more B class heroes. I wouldn't recommend investing in Typhon at all, but he's still like very good in a vacuum, independently. But URs do cost double the resources. So yeah, that does it for the February tier list. Man, I really hate how this looks with the URs in there. I think I might MS Paint some like green lines or something in between. But quick recap was just Susa moved up to S, but the last S, Artemis moved up here. Sorry, not Artemis. Athena moved up here because she's just very good. Leonidas moved up. Poseidon moved up, and Murasaki and Oberon moved down. So again, I'm pretty happy with this list overall, and hopefully you enjoyed it, and would appreciate any comments, anything you want to share. Thanks for watching.